Hi.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Sterling.
Murray Thomas.
Murray,
Nice to
good
meet you.
you.
I'm Luther, nice to meet you.
Luther, nice to meet you too. Welcome.
Thanks for meeting us on a Saturday. I know it's outside your normal hours.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I know that we had a mishap yesterday with miscommunication, and so I'm happy to come in. I know that you wanted to get going, so it really is my pleasure.
Yeah.
Looks like you got some coffee.
Yes. Jenny set me up.
Oh, Jenny's great.
Yeah, she just ran out to Starbucks. It's wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, she just started here, and we're really impressed with her. So, before we get into the finance part of it, I just kind of wanted to get to know you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourselves?
Well, so I am a heart surgeon here at Covenant.
Oh, wonderful.
He's an ad exec downtown. I've been at my job about 35 years. We have 2 kids, Eleanor and Larry.
Great. Do they live here in town?
No, they live in Dallas, but they're just great. I'm so proud of them.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, you have that look.
Yeah, they're just so successful out there, and they're totally independent, and I'm just so proud of their success. So
Glad to hear it. Yeah, they're not too far away, so that's
Yeah.
nice.
fortunately, we're able to get out there sometimes. With the house in Dallas has really helped make visits there a lot easier. So
Okay. And what are your kids' names? You said that.
yeah,
already.
Eleanor and
Sorry.
Larry. No, it's okay. I'm sure you do this
I was
all the
thinking
time.
I should write them down. Would that be alright if I take notes as we talk?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. That way I won't forget little details here and there as we go. Okay. So, and you said you've been working as a surgeon for 35 years. Has it all been at Covenant?
Yeah. After tech, I started working at there. I think when it was back in it was Methodist. So.
Okay, so you went to Tech, but it looks like you went to LSU, huh?
I did.
Oh, great. So how did you two meet?
He just was in town visiting a friend, and we were at a game. So, that's just how it
Friend of
happened.
a friend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. That's how life works out sometimes. Well, great. It's wonderful to meet you. Looking forward to working with you. Why don't tell me a little bit about what brings you here. Let's get into that.
Well, so we do pretty well for ourselves, but suddenly things have seemed sort of tighter than usual. So I just sort of wanted to discuss sort of how we can just how we can make things a little looser with our finances.
Get a little breathing room.
See what we need to do with our investment assets and stuff like that. See if we can, try to make a little bit more money there, to kind of give that breathing room.
Right. So one of the things that we focus on here is we're goal oriented. So we want to know what your goals are. We want to know how that fits into the rest of your life, because we don't believe in isolating the numbers from what you care about, your values. So what we like to do is start learning about what you want to do with your lives, maybe some of the financial challenges you face, maybe some life challenges that fit into that, and then we put it all together, and then from there, then we start to develop a financial plan.
Okay.
So what are you said that you wanted to earn a little bit more money, figure out how to get some breathing room in terms of finances. What has changed to make things tighter than normal?
Well, so after my father died, we really tried to increase our charitable contributions, just finding more ways to give back, So I think that's sort of, one of our other, when I think about goals, I think about, wanting to make more of an impact there.
How long ago did your father pass away?
2 years.
2 years? Wow. That's a big blow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We were really close, so, every day that misses.
Yeah. And it looks like you're trying to turn some of that into kind of honoring his memory.
Yeah. I would say so.
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, just the way that he died so suddenly, I think, has made me realize how important it is to give back. And especially, so he died of a stroke, and I think as a heart surgeon, I kind of take that really personally. I mean, I know so much about the cardiovascular system, and yet, strokes still happen, and they happen to good people. So,
So you're still struggling with the loss.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like that there should have been something there has to be something we can do, I can do, to make sure that fewer strokes happen, So, I think that the American Stroke Foundation has been a really important part of that. So, I just want to give as much as I can to that. I just think about the way that, my grandkids are going to never know my father and, really get that same inspiration, that same inspiration that, I got. So, I just want, that to not happen to other families.
Yeah, well, obviously it's still really painful for you to think about. Going through loss and grief can be very difficult, obviously. I haven't lost my father yet, but I have lost other family members, and I know it's something I still think about. And as one of the things that we want to be able to do is to help in any way, to help you kind of move forward in your goal to honor him. We obviously can't replace him, and we don't want to try to make you forget him by any means, but remembering him can be a very beautiful and helpful thing. So you also mentioned the American Stroke Foundation, so that you're putting it directly into your efforts directly into something that affects people who are in similar situations.
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot of like direct service to family members of people who, have had strokes and are dealing with the recovery. So, it's been a really, I really value that organization and the things that they do. So yeah, we've been just making direct donations there. And I mean, hopefully, I can give more. I really, when I think about what I want for my legacy and for my, really, which is my father's legacy, I just, that's really where I want to go.
So what I'm kind of hearing is that you have these goals, honoring your father's memory, helping people who are struggling with similar things, but it is causing some kind of tension with other goals that you may have in life. That's why things are tighter financially. So let's talk about some of the other goals. What are some of the other things that are also in your future?
I mean, we want to retire sometime. I can't be a heart surgeon forever. So, I mean, I think, retirement's obviously a goal. I don't know, what do you mean, like other goals?
Well, what are some of the other major things that you look forward to in the future? For example, some people want to help their kids with. But you said your kids are pretty financially, but some want to send grandkids to college.
Oh, I would do that. Yeah, that would be nice.
Or maybe like having a second home.
Oh, well. Hit that milestone.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that.
We have the house in Dallas, the house here in Lubbock, and then we built a hacienda down in Mexico a couple of years ago, so that's
Beautiful.
yeah, a wonderful getaway.
Okay. So yeah, and it's things like that I mean. But it's maybe you're focusing on those things right now. Well, actually, let me ask this question. What about your goals changed once you started trying to make charitable donations? Were there some things that were important but you put on the back burner?
I mean, we've spent a lot less time traveling. I think that used to be sort of what we did. But ever since then, I mean, for one, I just don't feel like it anymore. It's already hard enough to get away with my schedule and with his schedule. So, I think that's probably something that I've noticed that we do less, although we still, I think, want to spend about half our time, as much time as possible, and I think in retirement, we want to spend about half our time in Mexico at the hacienda. I mean, we would still like to say, help the grandkids, that's something that, sorry, yeah, I mean, I would just like to help our grandkids with college, but that's just something that my family does, so I think that would be nice if we could continue, with that as like a goal in mind for the future, so.
Okay.
I mean,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, sorry.
We haven't heard a lot from Luther. How do you feel about what you said so far?
I mean, I back my wife 100%. I have certain worries as far as our retirement goes. I mean, we were living a certain lifestyle before unfortunate event. But I mean, one thing that taught me was we really need to enjoy life because it's so short. So I back her 100% though. I learned about 30 years ago that she's always right. So, and I really do find it important that we donate. And so, might be a little bit much, but I think we're doing the right thing. So it's good.
Well, it sounds like you guys are on the same page. The two of you are on the same page in terms of that. It's something you're discussing. So we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we agree about 85% of the time, so
Okay.
Sounds about right.
we work out the rest of the 15%.
It's usually me saying yes.
Honey.
Well, something that we also want to do with couples that we work with is to help them get on the same page, because that creates, things just go smoother. Expressing goals to each other can help. Expressing concerns to each other can help. So that's something we want to do over time, because that 15% could be small, it could be big. It just depends on the couple, depends on the situation. So that's something we want to explore as we go forward to help you as you progress. Well, it sounds like we have a lot that we would want to talk about. The big question I think that we're facing, and that we want to help you with, is how to create the balance between this new goal that is so important to you both and some of the other goals that you might have. So can you talk a little bit about your feelings as to how you're gonna, how do you think that you want to approach that balance? Because it's been thrown a little out of balance lately, which is causing some of the stress.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I look at it is, let's see, the balance between our future and our.
Well, the charitable donations are taking a little bit off from retirement, giving money to grandkids. There's a little bit of conflict there. So, how do you feel about that?
I mean, for me, as long as we have food on the table, donating as much of my salary as possible is the number one goal. And I mean, he's been very supportive of that. I mean, fortunately, we can live on what he makes as well. So I've been trying to donate pretty much 100% of what I'm making right now. I just really don't see anything else as important. I mean, we'll make the rest work out, I think.
Okay. So that's something that I've been hearing.
You agree with that, right, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's tight. She makes more than me, being a heart surgeon. So we definitely lived a certain way. I got used to a certain way of living. But like I said, anything that's important to her is important to me. And I definitely, I think that it's okay. We will make, as long as we can maybe get a little bit more money back in different other venues, whatever, in our investments. I don't know what you could do about our returns, maybe bringing those up a bit, that would make us feel a little bit better, but.
Yeah, I mean, because if we get a little bit more return on our investment, then, I mean, one of the other surgeons says he got 15% on one of his investments, so if we increased our return to 15%, then, I mean, not only would we have a better lifestyle, but, you know, I could donate even more money to the American Stroke Foundation.
Well, that's something that, we would wanna analyze as we go forward, kind of going back to what I mentioned before. So we like to kind of figure out exactly what your goals are, and if there are goals that are in conflict with one another, then it's hard to really move forward. So it's good to talk about what you're wanting to do. As far as investments and returns, that's something that we would definitely evaluate. We wanna make sure that we have a proper balance between risk in investing, which is a totally different topic that we could get into another day, but we wanna have a good balance between risk in investing and return, and we wanna make sure that that balance matches your goals in your life. We have found that if we just try to chase a high return without regard for client goals, then it can cause problems later down the road. So that's something that we try to keep it balanced. So it's good to hear that you're concerned about that. That's something we definitely want to evaluate.
I mean, whatever we can do in terms of, you know, supporting the American Stroke Foundation, both now and later, I mean, that's what I want. So if you can make that happen or help us do that, that would be.
Well, going back to some of the, what I was talking about balancing between those goals, the question I have is, you know, how much would you be willing to divert to that if it cut into retirement, for example, if you had to work longer? As you said, you can't be a surgeon forever, you know, I don't know how long both of you want to work, but are you willing to work longer if it means that you could divert more money toward the charitable donations? You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I always saw myself retiring in about 8 years. I think that's what, you know, he can work as long as he likes.
But he may
Well, I
not
guess I
want
know
to.
the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, you know, in about 8 years, we'll just want to spend more time. Hopefully future grandchildren. Eleanor gets on her, starts focusing on those goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then spending more time in Mexico.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, so what about helping grandkids with college? I mentioned, and you both nodded. You know, things like that might also come in conflict with other goals. And I'm not trying to say conflict in terms of them being wrong goals or anything like that, but as we go forward with the analysis, we would want to create some projections for you. How much can you give to charitable foundation and support these other goals? And then we would talk about, you know, increasing one to decrease the other. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to cut back too much on the donation to the Stroke Foundation. I mean, we're giving about $500,000 a year to them, and you know, I really see, you know, I feel like that's a good amount for us to give. You know, I feel like they're just seeing the work that they're able to do with that. Like, I don't think I would be able to pull back on that. I mean.
But I mean, I think as long as we can get that 15%, which, I mean, you should be able to get us that 15%, right? What if that's our goal? What if that's one of our goals?
Yeah.
You keep saying
Yeah, I mean,
goals.
that would
That's our
be a
main
good
goal. 15% return.
That's something that we would analyze. 15% return really depends a lot on markets. I mean, the market goes up and down, as you know. And as I said, one of the things that we focus on more is not just a number that we want to attain, but rather a number that fits what you're doing. So that's something we would analyze further on. But a 15% return, it just sounds really great, but it comes with a lot of correlating, you know, activities that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah.
Later on.
I mean, and I think, you know, when we talk about making changes, I think we plan on selling the house in Lubbock when we retire and
Oh, okay.
heading to Dallas, making that our primary home. Although,
Being close to the grandkids that you hope will come along, right?
exactly,
Okay.
lots.
Yeah, well, I think that we have covered a lot of ground. We discussed some of your goals, being getting a good return, supporting your charitable desires, grandkids, retirement, being able to spend a lot of time in the hacienda down in Mexico.
Oh, the guac is amazing.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I tried some of that guacamole, it's amazing down there. Those avocados are huge, way better than we can get over here.
It's just insane.
Yeah, so, I really appreciate you opening up about this, especially about your father. Again, I'm really sorry to hear that that's something that's still difficult. I think it's very beautiful that you're turning some of that pain into helping other people who are going through something you're going through. We want to support that goal and other goals as we go forward. So I'm really grateful that you were willing to talk about that. I think what we do from here is set up another meeting. You can talk to Jenny, maybe she'll have more coffee for you. And we will she'll send you out a little packet that'll have an explanation of documents that we need, tax returns or investment information, the type of thing that we would need to do full analysis. It also has a goal questionnaire, although we discussed some of it, we have some specific questions that might help you remember other goals that you hadn't really thought about. So, and then we would do our analysis and then meet again and discuss what we've uncovered for you. How do you feel about that?
Sounds fine.
Okay, and I don't want to end if you have any other questions or anything else you want to discuss, you still have a few minutes if you'd like to talk about that.
I don't know, I feel like I'm good for now.
Great. Well, it's been wonderful meeting with you. I'll walk you out and looking forward to our next meeting.
Thanks, you too.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.